What's up, guys? It's me, Alexander Jarvis. Welcome back. I presume you're following these videos step by step for the SaaS financial model, which you have got on my site, alexanderjarvis.com. And guess what? I'm Alexander Jarvis. Okay, guys. This sheet is going to be a bit complicated, and it's going to be one of the ones which you're probably going to get a little bit or very confused about when you're trying to do it yourself. So I'm going to do my best to try explain it to you how it works step by step. I may have more details in the old video that I originally did. One of the, I guess, largest changes that's happened is I've completely reformatted how the sheet looks and works and pulled them together to try and make it a bit easier for you to follow through. So if you want to check out the old video, a lot of the logic's the same. Maybe I might teach you some little more technical things, but I'm going to focus on teaching you exactly what you need to do now to get this bad boy done and done right. Okay, so the conversions sheet is further afield, okay, in this blue section here, conversion assumptions. Now, what's happening with the marketing, all right, is we're generating traffic, and that is, then we're going to define, depending if you're using the simple detailed version, what trials we're getting, okay? So how many trials, let's do the detailed version. Make sure there's numbers coming in. I'll turn this back on. It makes numbers bigger. Okay, these are on, channel sales is on. Okay, so marketing traffic comes in. We define what traffic goes to trial. Then these trials, 134, 275, remember those numbers, come in. 134, 149, 141. Why is that happening? I don't know, probably channel sales or something. These filter into the model from the marketing sheet. Okay, so we figured out what's happening with traffic, then we figured out what are going to convert to trials, and the next thing you want to do on the conversion assumption sheet, surprise, is figure what the actual conversion is going to be from trials into customers, the ones that actually pay you money. Okay, so links come in from marketing sheet. Okay, see it comes here, 1 for 1. All right. It is the same number. All right. Summary numbers go out. Okay. Now we're going to get into the assumptions here. You need to fill in everything in this sheet if you do monthly and you do annual type of customers. Okay. If you only do monthly ones, what you want to do is make sure that everyone is monthly here. Monthly, right? Monthly actual. So right now I'm saying 40% of our customers monthly, 60% are annual. So if you have 100% monthly customers, you set it to 100%, okay? This can change over time. So let's say sometime here you're gonna start doing annual contracts and it's gonna be 80% monthly. It means that 20% are gonna be annual. Again, you can change it around, okay? If you want them to be all annual, then you set this to 0 so that all of the customers become annual customers. Now, I started there, but we'll take a step back. Now, what we're gonna want to do is decide of these 134 trials, what percentage of these customers have to go through a salesperson, or what percentage are going to be automatically onboarded? Let me make sure I explain what automatically onboard and self-supported means, okay? Automatically onboarded is, say you have a lower ARPA, you're like Buffer or something, you charge $10 a month. Of course, you can't afford to have salespeople for that, in which case you want to have everyone automatically on board. 0. You want everyone to automatically on board, so it would be 100% automatically onboarded, okay? Maybe there's a better term for auto onboard. It just made sense to me, okay? It basically means that you are not hiring salespeople, you're not incurring costs to pay for those salespeople to support sales-supported customers, okay? Let's say you're very sales-orientated. You'd set that to 100% because no one is automatically onboarded, okay? If you're more like 50-50, right? Like that, 50-50. And so you'll see that half of the trials are going to be automatically onboarded, and half of them are going to be sales supported, okay? So the sales sheet, right, is going to take the trials or the MRR that you need from those, the MRR from the customers that you need, the targets, and define how much you need to have. So if you have, where is it? Calcs, conversion assumptions. If we set sales supported to 0, then what you'll find is that we're not hiring any salespeople because we don't need them, okay? So the higher your sales supported conversion rate is, or allocation, the higher, let's just set this to 50%, the higher they automatically, the more salespeople you can hire, okay? So define what it is that suits your business. It's only something that you know, okay? Approximately what needs salespeople, who's going to be automatically onboarded, and it's a zero-sum game there. So you'll see what the lead allocation is for it, and then you define what the monthly and annual is, like I explained before. And now we have two segments to fill in. You have the monthly one, and you have the annual one, okay? So if all your clients are monthly, we set here, 100%, then you don't have to fill in the annual one because you don't have any annual customers happening, okay? Let's assume this is 50-50 because we're going to fill in both of them. So one little quirk here is with usage. We assume that you don't do annual contracts because you don't actually know how much they're going to use over time. So your business model is probably going to it's just going to be monthly, okay? And so the model automatically knows that, and it's going to reallocate people depending on what's required here. So it'll basically stick everything to 100%. So let's just change the pricing sheet for fun and go to monthly, which is probably the normal one that you have, monthly. Conversion assumptions, you'll see everything's at 50%. So if it's on usage only, the model overrides it and sets everything to monthly and not annual, okay? Just FYI. Now, what happens with monthly customers next? Well, you're gonna have 3 avatars for your business. You may not have thought about it this way. I'm going to make you do it. Basically, you're gonna have 3 profiles of customers. And if you don't want to have 3, you can set things to 0 and just do it in that way. And then you're not gonna have them anymore. But you want to try and average who your typical client is into 3 buckets, because I think 3 is a good number. And also there's a blog you should read, which I wrote. It's called The Rule of 3. It's a simple but profound sort of learning for you. Is you want to try and define, are people going to have higher churn? Are they going to buy more? Will they have more expansion revenue? Will they, all these characteristics that you want to sort of define how you're going to be doing this. So we're going to say that 50% are basic, 25% are premium, 25% are pro. Let's say you want 100% premium, pro, to set these to 0, all right? It's 1 minus some, all right? And then it comes 100, okay? Let's just say we'll have 60% basic, and then, 20% premium, and then pro, okay? If you want to change these in the future, because you're going to go a lot more, so we'll say we'll do 40%, and then now it's going to be 40% premium, then pro, then that will change the model as well, okay? Everything is totally up to you. I just set it out with the first year here like this, just to make it simple for you, because a lot of people may not know how they want to apply everything. So these guys are then getting put into the buckets of basic, premium, and pro. The next thing is, so this is for automatically onboarding. All right, I don't know if I mentioned that to you before. So automatically onboard, sales supported. So you can see how the headings get lighter in color as you go down. It's just basically, digging in. So that's for your automatically onboarded guys. For your sales supported ones, you want to set what the allocation between the packages are for basic, premium, pro, and those will flick into the sales sheet. And then one other quirk here is I decided basically like channel sales are much more likely to need to be sales supported. So what I've done is basically allocated all of these channel trials, so 86 of them, will go into the sales supported section. Now, if you're like, Alex, that's totally not the case, fine, you just need to change the formulas around that, but be aware that that's an assumption that I've made, is just allocating the channel sales people directly to the sales supported people. So you can see that note, added channel sales trials here, okay? How does the formula work? I don't know, can't remember. So they get lumped in here. So, here, add channel sales, that's 86. All right, so these should be coming up from the top or wherever the number comes from. So actually it says affiliate trials here. It's basically just channel sales. I just wrote it wrong. So those get added in. Okay, so just allocating between. And the next thing you want to have, okay, let me summarize this again. So first off, you set, are people sales supported or onboarded? Then are they either monthly or annual? And then for the monthly one, first off. You're going to output them into buckets for automatic onboarded, put them into buckets for sales supported, and then you're done. Okay, now the next thing you have is once we've put people into these buckets, or 6 of them, basic, premium, pro for sales supported, basic, premium, pro for automatic onboarded, we want to define when these people are actually going to convert from trials into customers. So I don't want to deal with this. Okay, what we're first going to deal with is here, right? This conversion numbers. So we're going to have people trial, and 100% of them very likely are not all going to turn to customers. So you might assume much more like 30% of trials will turn into a sale. So if it's 30%, you type in 30. If it's 40%, 45%, then it's 45%, okay? Same for sales supported, same thing. What percentage of your total trials are going to turn into customers? That's what your definition is, okay? Now that we know in total, all right, for all of time, whoever's trialed it, right, we know 35% of all trials over the next year, or whatever it is, are going to convert into customers. Now, you probably have a trial period of, say, 15 days. It's actually probably the best number, by the way. Or say 30 days, or maybe it's an open-ended one where you have some basic use and, you know, they'll eventually come. Is you can actually define what the adoption curve is for this. So what I'm saying is basically you have a 3-month trial and no one signs up in the first month. And the next month, though, 50% of people will sign up, and then 100% of people. So this says that it takes 3 months in total for you to get to 100% of all the people who have trialed your product to ever actually sign up. The model's done on cohorts, so it's smart. It does this on a month-by-month basis repeatedly. Let's say 5% of people sign up, and then, I don't know, 35%, and then 50%, you know, you've got a long-ass cycle, and then here in month 6, you get 100%. That number is now 5, right? So these numbers always want to get bigger, so they're cumulative, and it ends up at 100%. Why? Because our implied adoption curve is going to take at 30% and take 30% of times by 5% is going to be 1.5%, 10, 15, ends up at 30, which is that number we want to actually get up to, okay? And then it takes what the increment is out of these to know what should be applied in the actual financial model. Now, if you say, I want to have first month, there's only 1 month, there's no more dilly-dallying around, 100%, and 25% of all trials will convert with that period, then you can see the implied adoption curve is 25%. So 25 times by 100% equals 25%. Do exactly the same thing for your sales-supported people. Let's undo some of these things. Oh, by the way, if you don't get there, it says an error, okay? Because it needs to make sure that you get to 100%. So, I don't know, 100%. Now, the final 2 more things that we need to get through in the monthly sheet is next we're going to deal with churn rate, and then we're going to finalize it with package switching. It's a term I invented. I don't know if it makes sense or not, but hey, that's what it is. So it's pretty simple to do this churn rate. You're just going to find how many years your customer is actually going to stay with you. So you can think about it in months if you want as well, but you just type in the number of years. So let's say it's a 3-year lifetime value, type in 3%, which implies it's effectively a 2.8% churn rate. Or maybe you got a super sticky product, they stay for 8 years. It's effectively 1% monthly churn rate. So put in the number of years you think it's going to be there. Don't fixate on that number, because in reality, you're going to mess around with the rest of the sheets and realize, fuck, my numbers are too high. And then you just start changing these numbers to make the numbers do what you want them to do, okay? So, I don't know, 4 years is probably like a good number, right? And then you can increase or decrease that churn rate over time if you want, because, I don't know, you run better operations or something. So you can set them 0 if you want. So that's the 2.1. So you can assume that maybe your churn rate is really high at the start. So 3%, then it comes down, right? And ends up being 0 long term. That's your life, like perpetual growth rate, like churn rate 2.1. So it gets there. If you don't want to mess around with stuff, you can just delete them. You can see everything is 2.1. But you could just assume that at the start, your churn rates are higher because you kind of suck, and then you get better over time. Again, it's just more assumptions. Now, finally is package switching. Okay, so if you have basic, premium, pro offerings, either by how you think about your customers or actually in your pricing, which is actually probably the better way to think about it. Basic offering, premium like $29, $59, $89. People will switch between them because other ones have got better features or they need more seats or whatever reason. So every month you might assume that people could go from basic to premium or basic to pro. At the same time, people go, do you know what? I got the pro package. It wasn't all that. I'm kind of happy with the basic version, in which case pro would go down to premium or pro would go down to basic. So there's 6 variables you have: basic to premium, basic to pro, premium to pro. And then downgrades: premium to basic, pro to basic, and pro to premium. So if you want, you can set what these are. Otherwise, set them as 0, like don't care. Here it's just some random numbers I put in just to make the model kind of work. But set what your assumptions are between them. If you've got more of a trading history, you probably have a better indication about what these numbers are. If you're starting out, what I would probably do is start out with them being 0 and then play with the model. And if I need my numbers bigger or if I need my numbers smaller, then I'll put some of these packet switching numbers in to sort of fine tune my number. Okay, so the annual section now is almost exactly the same as the monthly one. So I'm not going to go through too much, but I'll just take you through it for anyway, posterity sense. So you can kind of change the contract length in here. By default, it's 12. If there's some really weird reason, you can change this number. I'm pretty sure my calculation sheets enable you to actually do it. I just don't know if every single sheet in the model I thought about it as being able to be changed. The math gets really funky for it, actually, to be honest. So ideally, just keep it at 12 months. So I think if you've actually just got 6-month contracts, then I'm pretty sure the formulas don't work in the annual assumptions sheet. So if that's really important for you, reach out to me and I can kind of think about it. But ideally, don't change this number, okay? So if you're doing annual contracts, just do annual contracts, okay? So I've written some funny things in here, like 5 is weird. Otherwise, it's 6. Then I don't know, what's 7? Why 7? 8. Why 8? Anyway, what up 11? Why 11? I like this one. 5 is weird. Alexa, go away. Fuck. So ideally keep that number there. I said if it's really important for you to have like a 9-month contract or something, fine, let me know. But just generally just leave that number at 12, okay? I don't know what the consequences are of it. So same shit, right? Auto onboard or self-supported. Allocate them to the buckets. Do your adoption curve as well for annual contracts. Could be more, could be less than the monthly one. Then again, what are the percent of trials will become customers? Is your adoption curve, set the lifetime of them, whatever that number is. You can change your churn rates, do the packet switching, and you're done with the conversion assumption sheet. Now, if you were to look at this thing, you'd be like, oh, fuck, what's going on? Believe me, I've tried to think of ways of making this simpler, but still giving you the functionality you want. I don't know. If you've got advice of how to make it look easier or more approachable for you, feel free to let me know. I'm always open to feedback. But hopefully, if you've gone through this video, you understand what's happening. So just think again, traffic, right, goes to trials in the marketing sheet. In this sheet, you are defining how your trials are going to convert into customers. At what period are they going to be self-supported? Are they going to be automatically onboarded? What period of time does it take for them to get there? How are they going to churn? Are they going to switch between different packages? So you get to control all of that in the model. You'll need to fill in almost everything for this to make sense, except for, say, packet switching. But pretty much everything else, like churn happens, you can't hide it, right? What the conversion rate from trial to customer is and what the adoption curve is, or to set this to 100%, these to 0, or delete them, actually. Yeah, that's something point. Okay, don't 100%, okay? You need to delete these, okay? Don't put zeros and stuff in. It's a bit of a mistake, right? Because it says 8. It doesn't actually affect the model anyway. It's just a visual thing, but make sure these are 0, by the way. Okay. Let's change all this back. So, okay, guys, as usual, if you have any questions, please sound out in the comments below. If it's just specific to you, I'll be happy to answer. If it's something big, which I really didn't explain, or I'm just explaining this absolutely terribly, could be, I'll update the video or make a new one for you. If you like this, feel free to like, send me some love in the comments or whatever you want to do. But have a great day, guys. Next video you're going to be doing is P&L forecast. Where are we? Conversion assumptions. Next video is going to be around monthly and annual revenue forecast calculations. Yay. All right. Stick with me, guys. See you.